Later that night, Jesus was on the mountainside alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" Hey Marco Polo and hobbits named Frodo. Before we get started, I wanted to mention this thing right here. I know I don't normally have this mic sort of in your face and in my face during a 7-minute sermon, but the audio jack on my camera broke, so it's either have this or have really bad audio, so we're gonna have to deal with this for a little while at least. Please give me grace. So after a long break, it feels really good to be back doing a 7-minute sermon. And it feels even better to be giving you part 3 of our series, More Than a Feeling. In this series, we've been talking about faith. Many of us, including myself, struggle with this topic of faith. And for years, I used to go to church services and to summer camps and to conferences, and I would feel so close to God. And I'd walk away from those things feeling so strong in my faith. But then when I'd return home and a couple months later, when I didn't feel God as much, I just assumed that I didn't have a strong faith anymore. But what we're talking about in this series is how faith, a true faith, is so much more than just a feeling. We've talked about how faith is a focus. It's choosing to focus on God even in the middle of the storm. We've talked about how faith is forward thinking. It's believing in the miracles before they happen. And the third thing I want to talk about today is how faith is a foundation. So throughout this series, we've been looking at this man, this guy named Peter. And you all know who Peter is, right? He's an ex-fisherman, an unschooled man with very little reputation or clout or influence. And one day, Peter up and decides to follow this rabbi named Jesus. And he spends basically his entire time with Jesus speaking too soon, acting too rashly, and just messing things up. By all accounts, the dude's a screw up. This is who Peter is. But do you know who Peter becomes? After Jesus' resurrection and ascension, the New Testament talks about Peter heading out to the countryside. And it's there that he preaches in cities, he plants churches, and he begins performing miracles. It's there that this man, he begins to bring thousands of people to faith in Jesus. For this, he faces persecution, he faces trial, he faces jail time, all while writing at least 2 books of our New Testament. You see, Peter's original name was Simon, which means reed, as in a thin, weak plant which sways back and forth in the wind. But in Matthew 16, we read how Jesus changes his name to Peter, which means rock. As in like a rock. Ready for the fight. Peter started as the reed, but he became the rock.
Nothing this man does surprises me anymore.
He started as a screw up, but he became one of the greatest church planters the world has ever known. And this wasn't because Peter was such a good man, but it was because in Jesus, he found a foundation of faith. Faith is a rock-solid foundation. I live really close to downtown Chicago, and every now and then I'll be downtown and I'll see them working on a brand new building or a brand new skyscraper. And if you walk by one of these construction sites in the beginning stages, you will see nothing but this gigantic hole in the ground and these poles popping up. And these poles, they go 3, 4, 5 stories deep into the earth. And the reason that they do this, the reason they drive these poles into the ground, is because they're setting a foundation for the building. This is so that when the crazy winds of Chicago weather come, the building does not crumble because it has a firm foundation. And in the story we just heard, I believe that one of the reasons Peter sank is because he did not yet have a foundation of faith. So as soon as the winds blew, he crumbled. Some of you have things that are falling apart in your life right now. Your parents' marriage is being destroyed. Your friendships are crumbling. Your self-worth is just being dismantled. But when you discover a foundation of faith, when you choose faith, then the winds may blow, but you will not be shaken. You will not be moved. When you have a foundation of faith, you may bend, but you won't break. You may lean, but you will not fall. And not only will you keep from crumbling, but when you have a foundation of faith, then I believe that God will use that foundation to build his kingdom in your life. Thank you all so much for watching this 7-minute sermon. It feels so good to be back. If you like this video, I hope you will give it a thumbs up. I hope you will also share the video. I don't know what this is. This like some sort of share button. I don't know. It's not really going to be there. I hope you share the video. I hope you subscribe to the channel. I hope you all have an amazing weekend or weekday, or there's no other types of day. But whenever you're watching this, I hope you're just doing fantastic. I love you all. Keep being awesome. Bye.